The aroma of freshly baked bread filled my kitchen at 4 a.m., just like every morning for the past 5 years. While most of Boston's financial district still slept, I was already elbow-deep in dough, preparing for another day at Sweet Success Bakery. The irony of the name wasn't lost on me. My family had mockingly suggested it when I first opened, certain I would fail within months. I'm Rose Hamilton, the youngest daughter of the Hamilton family, once one of Boston's most prominent business dynasties. I say once because at this very moment, Hamilton Enterprises was facing bankruptcy, and my family's empire was crumbling. Not that they knew I was aware of their financial troubles. They'd stopped speaking to me years ago when I chose baking over banking. The industrial mixer hummed steadily as I prepared another batch of croissant dough. My assistant manager, Lisa, would arrive in an hour, followed by the rest of my staff. My little bakery now employed 30 people across 3 locations. Though my family didn't know that either, they still pictured me in a tiny storefront, playing at being a business owner while they ran their real company. My phone buzzed, an email from James Chen, my financial advisor. Confidential. Hamilton Enterprises stock dropped another 15% yesterday. They'll have to declare bankruptcy by end of week, unless they find a buyer. Shall we proceed as discussed? I smiled, remembering the last family dinner I'd attended 5 years ago. It was the night I announced I was leaving my position as junior financial analyst at Hamilton Enterprises to open a bakery. A bakery. My older sister Catherine had laughed, nearly choking on her wine. What a waste of your business degree. Really, Rose? My father sighed, looking disappointed as usual. This is beneath you, beneath this family. My mother simply shook her head, while my brother Alexander, the CEO of Hamilton Enterprises, smirked. Well, when your little hobby fails, don't come crying to us for a job. I had walked out that night and never looked back. What they didn't know was that I'd seen the warning signs even then. Questionable accounting practices, risky investments, Alexander's increasing desperation to maintain the appearance of success. I had tried to warn them, but who would listen to the baby of the family who just wanted to bake cookies? So I had quietly built my own empire while theirs began to crack. Sweet Success wasn't just a bakery. It was the flagship of Sweet Success Enterprises, a corporation that now included a wholesale business supplying high-end restaurants, a cooking school, and a line of specialty baking ingredients sold in stores across New England. Last year's revenue, $22 million. But on paper, everything was hidden under shell companies and different names. To the world, and my family, I was just the owner of a modest bakery chain. The bell above the back door chimed as Lisa arrived. Morning, boss. Ready for another busy day? I wiped flour from my hands and checked my phone one more time. Another email, this one from my lawyer. All paperwork in place. Ready to move whenever you give the word. More than ready, I replied to Lisa, thinking of the meeting I knew was coming. Soon, my family would have no choice but to turn to the one person they had underestimated all these years. The morning rush kept us busy, as usual. Executives from nearby financial firms lined up for our famous almond croissants and fresh brewed coffee. Several faces I recognized from Hamilton Enterprises. Mid-level managers who had no idea their company was about to implode, or that their CEO's little sister was the one serving them breakfast. Around 10 a.m., my phone rang, a number I hadn't seen in years. Catherine. Rose? Her voice had lost its usual condescending tone, replaced by barely concealed panic. We need to talk. It's important. I kept my voice neutral. I'm rather busy, Catherine. The bakery, you know. Please, she almost whispered. It's about the company. We need your help. I closed my eyes, savoring the moment I had known would come. I have a meeting with my wholesale suppliers at 2 p.m. I could meet you at 4. Thank you, she breathed. The company office? No, I said firmly. My office, above the bakery. There was a pause. I could almost hear her swallowing her pride. Fine, we'll be there. After hanging up, I called James. They're coming? Is everything ready? All set, he confirmed. I've prepared all the documentation showing exactly how Alex mismanaged the company. The board is already secretly on board with our plan. They just need your family to agree. I thanked him and went back to work, losing myself in the rhythm of baking. People often asked why I still worked in the kitchen when I could afford to step back. The truth was, I found peace in the precision of pastry, the chemistry of baking. While Alexander had played with numbers to make failures look like successes, I had built something real, something people could taste and touch and enjoy. At 3:55 p.m., I changed out of my flour-dusted chef's coat into a crisp black blazer. I had just settled behind my desk when Lisa knocked. They're here, she said, trying to hide her excitement. She was one of the few who knew the full story. All 3 of them. I nodded. Send them up. Catherine entered first, her designer heels clicking on the hardwood floor. She looked thinner than I remembered, stress evident in the lines around her eyes. Alexander followed, his once immaculate suit slightly rumpled, his confident stride replaced by a nervous shuffle. My father came last, and my heart clenched. He had aged decades in 5 years. They took in my office with poorly concealed surprise. The space was professional, elegant even, with large windows overlooking the financial district. Framed magazine articles hung on one wall. Sweet Success. Boston's rising star in artisanal baking. Innovation in traditional pastry. 30 under 30. Food entrepreneurs. I wondered if they'd ever bothered to read any of them. Thank you for meeting with us, Catherine began, clearly appointed as spokesperson. We need your signature. I raised an eyebrow. My signature? Alexander exploded. Don't play dumb, Rose. You still own 15% of Hamilton Enterprises. We need all shareholders to agree to the sale, or everything is lost. I leaned back in my chair. The sale to Global Dynamics? For pennies on the dollar? The same sale that would leave all our employees without severance, our suppliers unpaid, and our family name in ruins? They stared at me. How did you? Catherine started. No, I finished. I may have left the company, but I never stopped watching. I saw every mistake, every bad decision, every time Alexander cooked the books to hide his failures. Alexander lunged forward. You have no proof. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a thick folder. Actually, I have every proof. Every document, every questionable transaction, every risky investment that brought us to this point. I met my father's eyes. I tried to warn you 5 years ago, but you wouldn't listen to the daughter who just wanted to bake cookies. The room fell silent except for the distant hum of traffic below. Through the window, I could see the Hamilton Enterprises building towering over the city. By this time tomorrow, it might have a new owner. What do you want? My father finally asked, his voice heady with defeat. I stood up slowly. I want to save the company, save the jobs, save our family's legacy. I pressed a button on my phone. James, please come in. The door opened, and James entered with another folder. My family's eyes widened as they recognized one of Boston's top financial advisors. But to do that, I continued, things will have to change, starting with the management. Alexander's face turned red. You can't. I can. I cut him off. Because right now, I'm the only one who can save Hamilton Enterprises from complete collapse. The only question is, I smiled, thinking of all the times they had dismissed me, mocked me, underestimated me. Are you ready to listen to the little sister who just bakes cookies? Catherine was the first to recover from the shock. What exactly are you suggesting, Rose? She asked, her lawyer's mind already calculating angles and possibilities. I gestured to James, who began distributing documents to my stunned family members. Sweet Success Enterprises, he explained, is prepared to purchase a controlling interest in Hamilton Enterprises. The offer is significantly higher than Global Dynamics and includes provisions to protect all current employees and suppliers. Alexander flipped through the papers, his face growing redder with each page. Sweet Success Enterprises? This bakery? He laughed, but there was a note of hysteria in it. You can't be serious. Actually, I pressed a button on my laptop, turning the wall-mounted screen on to display a corporate overview. Sweet Success Enterprises is a privately held corporation with annual revenue of $22 million, zero debt, and significant cash reserves. We own 3 retail locations, a wholesale division supplying 122 restaurants across New England, a culinary education center, and a specialty ingredients brand sold in over 500 stores. My father's hands trembled as he studied the financials. How? When did you build all this? While you were busy mocking my little bakery, I said quietly. I was building an empire. One customer, one product, one location at a time. No shortcuts, no cooked books, no risky investments. Just honest work and genuine growth. Catherine's legal training kicked in. Who owns Sweet Success Enterprises? I do, I replied simply. Through a series of holding companies that kept my name off any public documents. I wanted to succeed or fail on my own merits, not the Hamilton name. Alexander slammed his hand on my desk. This is ridiculous. You're trying to steal my company. Your company? I stood up slowly. The company you drove into the ground. The company where 300 people might lose their jobs because of your mismanagement? That company? James cleared his throat. The board has already been briefed on our proposal. They're quite enthusiastic about it. You went behind my back to the board. Alexander's face turned purple. No, Alex. The board came to us. I pulled up another document on the screen. Dozens of emails from board members expressing concerns about Alexander's leadership. They've been watching you spiral for years. They just needed a viable alternative. My father, silent until now, finally spoke. What are your terms? I sat back down, folding my hands on my desk. Sweet Success Enterprises will purchase a 60% stake in Hamilton Enterprises at $42 per share, more than double what Global Dynamics offered. All current employees keep their jobs, all supplier contracts are honored, and the Hamilton name stays on the building. And what about us? Catherine asked. You and Dad can keep your current positions with some oversight. As for Alexander, I met my brother's furious gaze. He resigns, effective immediately, with a generous severance package and agreement to never serve as an officer in any Hamilton company again. You can't do this to me, Alexander shouted. I'm the CEO, the eldest son. Being born first doesn't make you a good leader, Alex. I said firmly. Your decisions have brought us to this point. The only question now is whether you want to leave with dignity and wealth or face criminal charges for financial fraud. The room fell silent except for Alexander's heavy breathing. Catherine studied the offer documents with her lawyer's eye, while my father seemed to age another decade in his chair. The board meeting is tomorrow at 9 a.m., James added. They'll vote on either this proposal or bankruptcy. Those are the only options left. My father stood up suddenly. I need to make some calls. Of course. I gestured to a private office adjacent to mine. Use my conference room. As he walked out, I saw him glance at the magazine covers on my wall, really seeing them for the first time. His expression was unreadable. Catherine followed him, already on her phone, likely calling other shareholders. Alexander remained, staring at me with a mixture of hatred and disbelief. How long have you been planning this? He demanded. I haven't been planning anything, Alex. I've been building my own successful company while watching you destroy ours. The only difference is, I learned from Mom and Dad's real legacy. What legacy? He scoffed. Hard work, integrity, creating actual value instead of just moving numbers around. I stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the city we both loved. Did you know Mom started Hamilton Enterprises in our garage? Dad was still teaching high school then. They built it from nothing, one client at a time, just like I built Sweet Success. And now you're going to destroy everything they built. I turned back to him. No, Alex, I'm going to save it. From you. The next 12 hours passed in a blur of lawyers, documents, and negotiations. My father emerged from countless phone calls, looking exhausted but resigned. Catherine's legal expertise actually proved helpful as we hammered out the final details. Alexander alternated between rage and desperate bargaining, but in the end, faced with the choice between a generous exit package and potential criminal charges, he signed the resignation papers. At 9 a.m. sharp the next morning, I walked into the Hamilton Enterprises boardroom for the first time in 5 years. The same boardroom where I'd been patronized and dismissed as the baby of the family who didn't understand real business. The vote was unanimous. By 10 a.m., the press release went out. Hamilton Enterprises announces merger with Sweet Success Enterprises. The business world was shocked to learn that the humble bakery chain was actually the parent company of a highly successful private corporation, and that the youngest Hamilton had secretly become one of Boston's most successful entrepreneurs. CNBC ran the headline, Cookie Queen Saves Family Empire. Bloomberg went with Sweet Success, How a Bakery Bought a Banking Giant. The Wall Street Journal's was my favorite. Rising Dough. Hamilton Scion transforms from black sheep to white knight. The following weeks were intense. I split my time between Sweet Success and Hamilton Enterprises, working to stabilize the company while maintaining the standards of excellence at my bakeries. I hired Alex a replacement, a seasoned CEO with a proven track record of ethical leadership, and began the process of unwinding his riskier ventures. Catherine proved surprisingly adaptable, throwing herself into learning about Sweet Success's operations with the same intensity she'd once applied to corporate law. My father mostly kept to himself, though I occasionally caught him watching me with an expression that looked almost like pride. 1 month after the takeover, I arrived at my original bakery location at my usual time. 4 a.m. Some habits don't change, even when you're running 2 companies. I needed the peace of those early morning hours, the simple pleasure of creating something with my own hands. I was elbow deep in bread dough when I heard the door open. Turning, I found my father standing awkwardly in the kitchen, looking out of place in his expensive suit. "Dad, what are you doing here so early?" He stepped forward, inhaling deeply. "It smells like Mom's kitchen," he said softly. "Remember how she used to bake every Sunday?" I nodded, unexpected tears pricking my eyes. Mom had died when I was in college, before I discovered my passion for baking. But those Sunday mornings, watching her create incredible pastries while explaining the chemistry behind them, had clearly influenced me more than I'd realized. "I never told you," Dad continued, "but she always said you were just like her. She saw something in you, a blend of creativity and business sense that reminded her of herself." He picked up one of our signature almond croissants. "She would have loved this place." "Dad, no, let me finish." He set the croissant down carefully. "I was wrong, Rose. We all were. We were so focused on maintaining the appearance of success that we forgot what real success looks like." He gestured around the busy kitchen. "This is real. What you've built is real. And," he swallowed hard, "I'm proud of you." I wiped my flour-covered hands on my apron and hugged him, not caring about his expensive suit. For a moment, we were just father and daughter, surrounded by the smell of fresh bread and new beginnings. The next few months saw both companies flourish. Hamilton Enterprises' stock price recovered as confidence returned to the market. Sweet Success opened 2 new locations and launched a cookbook that became an instant bestseller. Catherine now runs our legal department, bringing her expertise to bear protecting both companies' interests. My father serves as an advisor, though he's mostly retired, focusing on teaching business ethics at local colleges. An ironic twist that's not lost on anyone. Alexander? Last I heard, he moved to Florida and opened a jet ski rental company. Some people never learn. As for me, I still start every day in the kitchen at 4 a.m., even though I could afford to never work another day in my life. Because success isn't just about money or power or proving people wrong. It's about staying true to yourself, building something real, and remembering where you came from. Every morning, as I knead dough and check the ovens, I think about how far I've come from that family dinner 5 years ago. The little bakery they mocked has become the foundation of an empire, but more importantly, it's become a testament to the power of believing in yourself, even when no one else does. The original recipe for our signature almond croissants hangs framed in my office now, right next to the merger documents that saved Hamilton Enterprises. 2 different kinds of success, both equally sweet. Last week, a young woman came into the bakery, clearly nervous. She told me she was leaving her corporate job to open a small cafe, and her family thought she was crazy. Could I give her any advice? I smiled, thinking of all the twists and turns that had brought me to this moment. "Follow your passion," I told her, "but never forget your business sense. Success is like baking. It takes the right ingredients, careful measurement, perfect timing, and most importantly, patience." Then I gave her my card, my real card, the one with both company logos on it. Her eyes widened as she realized who I was. But most importantly, I added, "Don't let anyone tell you your dreams are too small. Sometimes the smallest seeds grow into the strongest trees." She left clutching my card like a talisman, standing a little straighter. I watched her go, remembering another young woman who once dared to believe she could build something meaningful, one cookie at a time. The smell of fresh bread filled the air, and somewhere in the financial district, the Hamilton Enterprises building caught the morning sun, its windows gleaming like possibility itself. Sweet success, indeed. The aroma of freshly baked bread filled my kitchen at 4 a.m., just like every morning for the past 5 years. While most of Boston's financial district still slept, I was already elbow deep in dough, preparing for another day at Sweet Success Bakery. The irony of the name wasn't lost on me. My family had mockingly suggested it when I first opened, certain I would fail within months. I'm Rose Hamilton, the youngest daughter of the Hamilton family, once one of Boston's most prominent business dynasties. I say once, because at this very moment,
Geez, your mom only went to middle school and works part-time. Do you just care about money? When my mom told my future father-in-law she was a janitor, everyone laughed. He sneered seriously. A cleaning lady, that's as low as it gets. It hurt me deep. They were making fun of my mom who raised me on her own. It was so mean. I couldn't imagine being related to them. Let's just forget this happened, I said coldly, trying to move on. My name's Emily Yale. I'm 26. I graduated from a public college with a teaching degree, and now I teach English at a public high school. I enjoy my life. Today, I'm going on a date with my boyfriend, John, on a weekday, something we haven't done in a while. We're going to a restaurant he picked. Sorry, I'm late. You've had a busy week, John said when he got there. You too. Thanks for all your hard work, I said. John, my age, finished medical school and is now a resident doctor. We met in college and have been dating for 5 years. He's really kind and genuine, almost too good for me. Sometimes when we're both stressed with exams, we'd argue, but we always make up and help each other. As I ate dessert, I noticed this restaurant was fancier than usual. Suddenly, John got serious. My residency's ending soon. Being a doctor is tough, but I want us to be together through it all. Emily, will you marry me? He showed me a ring. Tears filled my eyes as I looked at him. Yes, I'm so happy. We can always rely on each other, I said, my voice shaking as I accepted his proposal. I thought my mom would be happy for us, but she seemed hesitant. My mom, Linda, lost her husband when I was young and raised me by herself. My grandpa once suggested we live together, but she wanted just us two. I met my grandparents for the first time in elementary school because I got married against my parents' wishes. I was young and stubborn, so I didn't rely on them right away. My mom always says, I might have caused you to suffer because of that. But I never felt that way. She's always been positive, kind, and loving. She's the most important person in my life and who I want to be like. When John and I went to tell my mom about our engagement, she blessed us with all her heart. John said, "Thank you, I'm excited for our future." My mom was almost in tears, happy for us. I said, "We should also tell your parents." "Thank you. I didn't see my family much since boarding school and college, but they'll be happy. Make sure to introduce yourself properly to John's family. You're becoming part of their family," my mom said, fully supporting us. I heard John's family are all doctors. His dad owns a hospital, and his mom stays at home. He also has a younger brother who's 8 years younger. I hope we get along, but meeting them makes me nervous. "Don't worry, I'll find us a place to live," John said. "Thanks. I'm nervous, but I'm excited too." I believed a bright future was ahead of us until that day, the meetup, 2 months later. We waited in a fancy restaurant's private room as John's parents and brother arrived a bit late. "Nice to meet you. This is my mom. My dad runs a clinic. Mom's a full-time housewife. And this is my brother, a high school senior." John introduced them. We introduced our families. John's doctor parents looked impressive, but his brother seemed more casual with messy hair and a disheveled uniform, glued to his phone. Then John said, "I want to marry her." His dad gently corrected him. "First, let's learn about her family. If we're becoming family, we should understand their background and character," his mom added, assessing us with serious eyes. "Where's your father today?" his dad asked. I've told John to say we're a single-parent household. Something's off. My dad passed away when I was young, so my mom raised me alone, I explained. His brother exaggeratedly twisted his face and said, "Seriously? Just one parent? Ridiculous." The one with the attitude crossing his legs was John's arrogant younger brother. "What's that supposed to mean? My mom raised me alone, and I'm thankful for it," I said, raising my voice. "Mind your manners and put away your phone," John scolded him, and his brother turned away angrily. "You're a high school teacher, right?" his mom asked me this time. "Yes, I teach English at a public high school," I replied. As soon as I spoke, his family all chimed in at once. A teacher. None of us are teachers, and she's in humanities. Isn't she unsuitable for our son? We wanted him to marry a doctor's daughter. A public high school teacher seems plain and poor. I'm in a totally different world. I already have a recommendation for medical school, they said bluntly. John, shocked by their words, spoke up. She's an amazing woman. She's dedicated to her job. Don't talk about her like that. Then his dad glanced at my mom. We haven't agreed to their marriage yet. A single mother and a teacher. What about you, ma'am? Can we ask about your education and job? My mom replied firmly, I've done different jobs since my husband died. Right now, I work as a janitor at a hospital. I only finished middle school. Before my mom finished, his family started laughing. Oh, she only went to middle school and does part-time work. Must have been very poor. His father dismissed my mother. Seriously, even with just a high school diploma, you're in a tough spot. So now she's a cleaning lady. Lowest of the low, his younger brother sneered. Your mom only finished middle school and works part-time. I couldn't even imagine such a life. Marrying into a family of doctors, I couldn't comprehend their attitude. Was this marriage just for money? His mother's dramatic frown delivered the final blow. As I suspected, we can't approve this marriage, his father declared, as if it were final. How terrible. I was stunned, speechless. Insulting me was one thing, but mocking my mother who raised me alone was unforgivable. I couldn't be part of this family. Stopping my mother from standing, I stood up. I understand how you all feel, so let's pretend this meeting never happened. Is that acceptable? With a cold, emotionless face, I declared. After a moment of silence, his family exchanged glances and burst into laughter. I thought you had something important to say. We're the ones calling off the engagement. Did you realize we were going to reject you and decided to end it first out of pride? His parents said, smug. Wait, that's not it. John couldn't stand his parents' behavior. I'm sorry. I can't be part of this family. I'm really sorry for their rudeness. Seeing our serious conversation, his parents paused their laughter. Why are you apologizing? You should find a more suitable partner. Maybe another doctor or a wealthy woman, they said. I stopped John from saying more and asked, would it have been better if I were a rich heiress? Of course, even if you're not a doctor, being rich wouldn't be a problem. You could help our hospital, right, dear? That might even be better for us. His parents laughed, continuing their show. So, you're saying you'd pass up such an opportunity? I challenged. What do you mean? They looked confused. By marrying our son, you'd gain some wealth. Where would a janitor and a regular teacher get that kind of money? John sighed heavily, rubbing his temples. What's going on? You're acting strange, his dad said, oblivious. Did you even listen to their introductions? Does the name Yale not mean anything to you? John asked. What about it? Not worth remembering such a family, his dad replied. Yale, huh? His dad seemed to catch on. Right? My grandpa chairs Yale University, and she's his daughter. Yale Academy, that elite place with everything from kindergarten to university? It has a medical school and hospital. His dad's eyes widened. Yeah, that Yale. You've heard of it, right? I said, taking charge. No way. A Yale Academy daughter dropping out of middle school to become a janitor? That's impossible, his parents exclaimed. Exactly. Your lie will be found out right away. If you're feeling guilty, come up with a better lie, I advised them. My mom works as a janitor in hospitals and schools, right? I'm talking about the hospitals and grad schools at Yale. What? She's undercover as a janitor? That's fancy talk for spying, right? Her job is to check on the school while cleaning and report any problems. My grandpa asked her to do it. If you don't believe it, go check, John explained. What? What? My detailed explanation seemed to convince them. His parents started to panic. Why didn't you tell us this sooner? Yes, if we knew that, we would have. This is what happens when you don't listen to people, his parents admitted, feeling foolish. I was about to explain further when I was cut off. I was ready to answer any questions, but it was unfortunate. I couldn't forgive how they insulted my mom. I quietly responded, my mom dropped out of middle school due to poor health since childhood. She had a brother to carry on the family line, so my grandpa prioritized her health over education. After middle school, she moved to a country house for ongoing treatment and rest. There, she fell in love with my dad. She argued with my grandparents, who wanted her to marry into a suitable family and left home to marry. They didn't rely on her family at all. But when my dad died and she raised me alone, my grandparents suggested we come back. She didn't agree immediately. I was stubborn, she said. She felt guilty for leaving and then asking to return. Over time, they wanted to see their grandchild and their relationship improved. Changing her name back to Yale was for my sake. His brother was stunned. So I told him, "It seems you've been recommended for medical school." "Which university?" What? What? John's brother was caught off guard by the sudden change in topic. "Oh, so it's Vassar College's medical?" "Oh." His mother realized something as she said that. "Vassar College is linked to Yale. If I mention today's events, your admission recommendation could be canceled, right?" "Hey, don't joke. Our son got in, and nothing can change that. We even pay extra to cover his grades. Canceling it now would be ridiculous." His dad slipped up, admitting to bribery. Both John and I said together, "You went that far, Dad." No, it's not." His father was clearly flustered, his mom and brother turning pale beside him. Treating admissions so lightly, was it all about money? "Did you bribe his teacher?" I pressed. No, I already said. The president of Vassar College is my uncle. If I report this, he'll investigate thoroughly, I warned. "What right do you have?" "You're so arrogant," his mom snapped, her face red with anger. "I hold no authority here. But I was told I'd eventually work at Yale," I explained calmly. "Say what now?" His mother's tone softened. "Oh, let's calm down. Let's forget what's happened. Your behavior will determine if I approve of this marriage. Is that fair?" Yeah. Our son is also the clinic's heir. He needs our approval to marry. You want to marry John, right?" His father was on board, and his brother added, "Just let them get married and don't cut me out." Faced with their selfishness, John exploded, "I don't need your permission. I'm cutting ties with you all." "What?" His family was stunned. "I always thought you were pretentious because we're doctors, but I never expected this at our first meeting with my partner." "What are you saying?" "Fine, cut us off." Facing his speechless parents, he continued, "Unashamed of how you treated her and her mom, and bribing for my brother's admission. I despise you. I'm marrying her and being happy. Stay out of our lives." With that, his parents were flustered. "So, you're not taking over the clinic? If our other son doesn't get into medical school, there's no heir." He brushed off his parents. "I'm not taking over. I've been asked to work as a surgeon after Yale. I'm considering that over working at your clinic." "What? I don't care. Let him take over." "Wait, we have patients counting on you." "That's right. We'll be in trouble if you don't take over." Ignoring the chaos, he turned to my mom. "I'm sorry. I want to cut ties with my family and build a home with your daughter. Please let us marry." His voice trembled a bit. "You don't need to apologize. I didn't fall for you because you're a doctor. I fell in love with your kindness and sincerity." My mom, standing beside him, nodded. "That's right. You're kind and respectable. Being a surgeon is amazing. I support your dreams and happiness." "Thank you. I'd appreciate it." He continued to bow, and my mom smiled. His family watched in shock. "Mom, let's go home. There's no point in staying." "Agreed. We'll leave. If you need anything, contact us." My mom left Yale's legal advisor's business card as she left. 1 year has passed since then, and John and I are happily married, living together. He's been working diligently as a skilled surgeon at the hospital after graduating from Yale. Despite his busy schedule and lack of sleep, I'm glad to see his enthusiasm for his work. My grandfather, who admires him, hopes he'll join our university's hospital in the future. As for his family, the truth about my brother-in-law's bribery came out, and the teacher who took the money was punished. His admission was revoked, and he's now trying to get into med school through regular channels. But it's tough given his attitude. His parents' clinic struggled because of the director's arrogance. Patients left when they realized John wouldn't take over, and most of the staff quit due to his mom's behavior. They faced social backlash and eventually closed the clinic. As for me, I've started studying educational administration at my grandfather's suggestion. He hopes I'll contribute to managing our institutions. With guidance from my uncle and seniors, I'm learning and growing. My mom said, "It's great to see our family grow closer." I'm truly happy to hear that. I want to give back more in the future. Though my days are busy, I'm grateful for the support from my mom and husband. My daughter came home crying after she was invited to a Christmas party at my husband's parents' house. When I asked her why she was upset, she handed me a gift-wrapped present without saying a word. "Mom, look at this. Why did this happen to me?" she asked. I was shocked when I opened the present. It wasn't something meant for a child. I quickly went to the police and asked them to find out who gave this present to my daughter. The police investigation revealed that Ed was the one who sent it, and it caused a lot of trouble with our family members. Ed faced serious consequences for his actions. I'm in my 40s and my husband is in his 30s. We both work at the same company. I started working there when I was in my mid-30s after leaving my previous job because my boss insulted me at a party. He called me an old maid because I wasn't married by the time I turned 30. But at my current job, people are judged by their skills, not their age or gender. My husband, who is now my boss, helped me settle in when I first joined the company. We got married quickly, and now we have a daughter in 3rd grade. She's a quiet girl who loves to read and is always kind to others. My husband's sister is quite troublesome, and we don't get along well. Thankfully, I have a good relationship with my in-laws, which makes things a bit easier. My sister-in-law, who really loves her brother, doesn't seem to like that I'm older than him and married to him. She made fun of our quick wedding, calling me names like old hag and suggesting I was too eager for marriage. Despite her comments, she used to visit us often when we first got married. Being older when I had a baby made it harder to get my body back in shape. She'd make rude remarks about my body, saying things like my belly was wrinkled and saggy from childbirth. She even joked that it would droop to the floor. She said I'd probably go gray from the stress of having a baby. Every time she left, she'd make mean comments about me getting dumped by her brother as I aged. I try to brush off her hurtful words, but it's hard not to feel bad about being older than my husband. I distract myself to avoid thinking about it too much, but her laughter still echoes in my mind sometimes. Shortly before I was due to give birth, my sister-in-law's pregnancy was revealed, and she also had a quick wedding. It seemed like she didn't care about anyone else's feelings. After that, she stopped visiting us, and we didn't see each other much because she moved to another city to live with my in-laws after getting married. I was relieved not to have to deal with her sarcastic comments anymore, and I could focus on getting ready for my baby's arrival. When I finally gave birth to a healthy baby girl, it was a bit tough, and it took some time. But my husband was by my side the whole time, holding my hand and cheering me on. When we heard our daughter cry for the first time in the delivery room, my husband thanked me and said, "You did great." We both cried tears of joy together. 7 months after our daughter was born, my sister-in-law had a baby boy. Then she started coming to our house, even though it was a long drive for her. She'd make mean comments to me, comparing our children. She'd say things like, "It's obvious that a kid born to an older mom would have a wrinkled face. My kid's skin is so smooth, isn't it?" The age of the mother at birth really affects the child. I didn't know how to respond to her hurtful words. I was too busy dealing with the challenges of being a new parent to pay much attention to her. The problem was, she never brought any baby supplies with her when she visited. She'd come without spare diapers or formula, and then take a bunch home, saying she didn't want to run out. She'd even take unopened formula with her, like it was normal. I couldn't understand why she would insult me and then take things from our house. But then she stopped coming. My husband said that her husband's job required them to move to a different state. We enjoyed some peaceful times until our daughter started elementary school and found out her cousin, my sister-in-law's son, was also enrolled there. We moved back here because of my husband's job transfer. That's when I knew my peace was over. Even though my daughter and her cousin had different parents, they got along really well. My daughter, who was older and very sincere and kind, looked after her cousin. He, on the other hand, was very popular and had lots of friends. When they both reached the 3rd grade, they ended up in the same class. One day, my daughter won an award for a reading reflection she wrote for a summer project. It was so good that it even got published in the newspaper. The whole family and relatives were talking about it. During a break between school terms, we were visiting my in-laws. This time, maybe because they heard about my daughter's award, some relatives were there who usually didn't get together. But my sister-in-law wasn't happy that our family was getting so much attention. She complained, saying, "It's not fair. That book was supposed to be for my son, but your daughter took it." The truth was, they had just swapped books. They couldn't decide which book they wanted to read, so they agreed to swap after finishing. After they both finished reading both books, they talked about it and decided together which book report to write. My nephew liked the book my daughter read first, so she let him have it. When I explained the situation to my sister-in-law, she accused me of writing the award-winning reflection for my daughter. I used to write novels as a hobby in college, something she must have heard from my husband. Unbeknownst to me, she started spreading rumors among the parents at school, saying I had a connection with one of the judges and asked for a favor for my daughter's writing competition. My daughter heard these rumors and became really upset. She even stopped reading her favorite books, feeling downcast. Seeing my daughter so upset, not just because of me, but also because she became the target of mean comments, I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to talk to my in-laws about everything that had happened, but I first confessed everything to my husband. It was the first time I told him about all the things his sister had done to me since we got married. She even took clothes I bought for my daughter when she was a baby, saying babies couldn't tell the difference between boys' and girls' clothes. She also insulted me and called me fat when I was pregnant, saying I looked like a sumo wrestler and should try a sumo stomp. My husband was furious, rightfully so, and he said it's not something to say to a pregnant woman. He called his sister's actions theft. He decided we should share everything with his parents, and he would be the one to tell them. So my husband and his parents went to my sister-in-law's house together. She was surprised to see them, but happy to see her beloved older brother. However, she ended up getting a harsh lecture from him and started to resent me even more. "You snitched to my favorite brother, you old hag. Acting like a tragic heroine must feel good, right? It's the worst for me, though. Take responsibility, you old ma," she said. At first, I thought she might be calling to apologize, but it turned out she just wanted to vent her anger at me. So I stopped answering her calls and let them go to voicemail. After about 2 weeks, the calls stopped, and I thought she had lost interest since I wasn't responding. But later, I found out that wasn't the case. In December, my in-laws organized a children's Christmas party for the first time. I was curious why they decided to do it this year. My daughter was thrilled to receive an invitation because she had fond memories of Christmas parties from her kindergarten days and was hoping her elementary school would have one too. However, her school didn't celebrate Christmas due to their policy on religious events. Why argue about religious reasons when Christmas has its own special meaning? I wondered. But apparently, some parents had strong opinions about it. I told my daughter we could have our own celebration at home since we did that last year. She was excited about the party and enjoyed picking out a gift for the gift exchange. The invitation for the party asked us to bring a gift worth around $20. So my daughter and I spent some time shopping at a nearby mall to find the perfect present. She chose one of her favorite picture books to share her thoughts with whoever received it. On the day of the Christmas party, she carefully held the present she picked and happily headed to my in-laws. Their house is just a 10-minute bus ride away from the bus stop, which is only a minute's walk from our house. I let my mother-in-law know that my daughter was coming, and she offered to pick her up. 10 minutes later, my mother-in-law called to say that my daughter had arrived safely, and I finally felt at ease. But 30 minutes later, everything changed. I had expected my daughter to be enjoying the Christmas party by now, but suddenly I heard the front door open. It was a weekday and my husband was at work. I was working from home because my daughter was on winter break. The unexpected sound of the door opening alarmed me, so I rushed to the entrance only to find my daughter sitting on the floor crying. I asked her what happened, and she handed me a gift-wrapped bag. She said I would understand once I looked inside, so I opened it. Inside was a torn-up newspaper with my daughter's reading reflection printed on it, along with a message card. The card, written in red ink, said, "If you get too cocky, you and your family will end up like this stuffed animal." There were also patterns that looked like blood splatters. Digging further inside, I found a stuffed animal that had been torn to pieces and covered in red ink. It was too cruel to be a joke. There was no way my daughter would coincidentally receive such a gift. During the gift exchange, my daughter explained that my sister-in-law had prepared this special present for her. Even though we agreed as a family that adults shouldn't personally prepare gifts for the child-focused Christmas party, my sister-in-law was at my in-laws' house. I didn't accompany my daughter because of this agreement. However, my sister-in-law's presence caught me off guard. My mother-in-law would have informed me if she had known my sister-in-law was there, but she didn't notice her. "Didn't you tell Grandma?" my daughter asked. My mother-in-law had always encouraged us to let her know if her daughter did or said anything to us. I had also communicated this to my daughter. When I tried to tell my daughter what happened, my aunt interrupted and said she hadn't called for me. She explained that only children with a connection to missionary schools were allowed. My daughter asked, "What's a missionary school?" And I was speechless. Just this spring, one of our relatives had passed the entrance exam for a missionary school, which had become a big topic of conversation. My sister-in-law's son also attended a missionary kindergarten. My sister-in-law must have thought this topic would be a way to scold my daughter. I told my daughter to stay inside with the gift she received while I rushed to the police station alone. I argued that it was a serious threat, but the police suggested resolving the matter within the family. However, I insisted that threats can be valid even among family members or siblings. Not only were there threatening words, but also a threatening letter and a mutilated stuffed animal, which I argued was malicious. Fortunately, a female police officer happened to pass by and empathized with how scared my daughter and I must have been. After I provided my sister-in-law's address, she promised to go and warn her right away. My wishes were fulfilled in the end, but I shudder to think what might have happened if that officer hadn't passed by. It was disheartening to realize that some members of the police force still wouldn't take action unless there was an actual incident or accident. I worried about how I could protect my daughter in case of an emergency. That evening, when my husband returned from work, I told him everything that happened. He was furious with his sister for ruining our daughter's fun out of spite. He immediately called his parents to express his anger, since the Christmas party was happening at their house and they supposedly didn't know anything about it. They claimed they had no idea my sister-in-law was there. They had left the back door unlocked, so she might have entered that way. My mother-in-law apologized for not paying attention to who was coming and going as she was busy picking up other grandchildren nearby. My father-in-law had been away at work during the day. The Christmas party was mainly organized by the older nephews and nieces, and my mother-in-law had mostly left it to them. Later, the police officer firmly warned my sister-in-law. From what I heard, she was told that any further reports could lead to more than just a warning, so things should be fine for the most part. However, my in-laws were upset by my sister-in-law's actions, which had escalated to involve the police. It could potentially lead to criminal behavior. As a result, they called a meeting with both our family and my sister-in-law's family with the parents present for discussion. When we arrived at my in-laws' house for dessert, my sister-in-law and her husband hadn't shown up yet. They finally appeared right at the last minute, with my sister-in-law clearly sulking. It was obvious she wasn't remorseful and resented me for involving the police. Her husband, sitting next to her, seemed clueless about why they were summoned. He'd appeared to have been called without being informed of the reason. During the discussion, he was shocked to hear for the first time about all the things his wife had done to our family, unaware that things had gotten to this point. He profusely apologized to us, feeling sorry. Seeing his reaction, my in-laws asked my sister-in-law if she had anything to say, but she just responded with, "Not really." She didn't seem to understand why she needed to apologize, acting as if she hadn't done anything wrong. "I didn't do anything bad. The police came but didn't arrest me, right? So that means I didn't do anything wrong." Everyone else was dumbfounded by her logic. It was like they couldn't close their mouths from shock. Lecturing her seemed like a waste of time. Then, unexpectedly, my sister-in-law's husband announced he was divorcing her. We were all puzzled because it seemed like they had a good marriage. Seeing our surprised looks, he confessed that he had reached his limit with her behavior since they got married. He hadn't complained about her not doing housework during pregnancy, and he hadn't scolded her for neglecting childcare and going out to have fun, thinking it was stress from being a new parent. But her carelessness with housework once led to a small fire that forced them to move. She, being vain, had insisted on their son attending a prestigious kindergarten when she heard other neighborhood kids were applying. But he didn't get in due to a lack of preparation. Embarrassed, she forced another move. While his job did involve transfers, they weren't as frequent as their moves suggested. He revealed that the frequent moves were not just because of his job transfers, but also to maintain my sister-in-law's image. After failing the kindergarten entrance exam, she tried to get him into an international kindergarten. And when that didn't work out, they barely managed to get him into a missionary kindergarten. Choosing a public elementary school was only because their son wanted it, and my sister-in-law reluctantly agreed. After her husband supported their son's wishes, he feared their son would be sacrificed for her vanity and had been considering divorce already. With her harassment coming to light, he felt he had no other choice but to announce it now. My sister-in-law, somewhat aware of her actions, didn't dispute what he said but seemed taken aback by the divorce. "Wait, what do you mean divorce? You never showed any signs of this," she said, suddenly starting to apologize to us, thinking it would help. "It was just a joke, right? Just a little prank. I never thought you'd take it seriously," she insisted. "A joke? A prank? Those are things done among people who trust each other. My daughter knows all about what you've done to me. How could she take it as a joke? Moreover, that hostile message was too much for a third grader. Even adults would be scared to go outside if someone threatened them, I told her." Her husband criticized her, asking if she could say the same thing to her own child, and said her actions were unimaginable for a parent. Just because someone is a parent doesn't mean they have parental feelings. There are people who can't be real parents, and she is probably one of them, my husband said sternly, seeing her crying. Crying wouldn't fix anything at her age, and she needed to stop thinking tears would get her out of trouble, he added. She cried even more, insisting she did nothing wrong and wasn't to blame. "Why am I the only one being blamed? Is everyone ganging up on me?" she cried. "It's all because my brother married an older woman. My brother's wife should be smart, beautiful, and so on. Our marriage and her harassment are totally separate issues, right?" We already thought she was a bit off, but even my husband was astonished at her stupidity. I explained. No one tried to comfort the inconsolable sister-in-law. The discussion couldn't continue, so we decided to adjourn for the day. Her husband had to drag her to the car and take her home. Their divorce eventually happened, but it was a messy affair due to her stubborn refusal to agree. Her son's accidental revelation might have been a factor in her agreeing to the divorce. He, without any malicious intent, simply shared what he saw with his friends. However, the parents who heard the rumor did not remain silent. After winter break at school, my nephew talked about having a Christmas party with his older cousins. It seems that at school, they used a class to have a presentation about their winter break memories. Among stories about what they did on New Year's Day and video game consoles they received as Christmas gifts, we all exchanged presents. Then I saw my mom giving my cousin a special present just for her, and I thought it was unfair. When the teacher asked what kind of present it was, my nephew described exactly what he saw. "I saw it. The cute stuffed animal was all torn up with lots of red stuff on it, like blood," he said. The story became a topic of discussion among the school teachers and escalated into a major issue after the children who heard it went home and told their parents. My daughter, still heartbroken, hasn't been able to go back to school since the Christmas party. Everyone knew that my daughter and her cousin were related, so they speculated that her absence was related to the incident, and they were right, but I wished it had gone unnoticed and left undisturbed. I had planned to wait until my daughter was ready to return to school on her own terms. Her cousin didn't share the story to be funny, but rather to find a way to stop his mom's terrible behavior. He too was hurt by her actions. Learning this, her husband realized he couldn't delay the divorce any longer and agreed to her demands in exchange for her consent to the divorce. By then, she had become infamous in the neighborhood as the woman who threatened children, and no one wanted anything to do with her. She was even pelted with garbage when walking outside. Feeling cornered, she agreed to the divorce, thinking returning to her parents' home would end her nightmare. Her husband had no intention of giving up custody, but she readily relinquished it. "I'll remarry someone much better than you. Kids are a nuisance when remarrying, so I don't need him," she said in front of her son. But he stood up to her. "I don't need a terrible mom like you. I have a cool dad, and that's enough. Never show your face to my cousin again," he said. She left with a final retort, "You'll regret this later." However, it was my sister-in-law who ended up in tears when she triumphantly returned to her parents' house. They turned her away at the gate, banning her from ever showing her face there again. With nowhere to go, she resorted to spending nights with random men in exchange for meals and a place to stay. When she couldn't find a man, she borrowed money from dangerous sources and spent her nights out, accumulating massive debt. Her debts became so overwhelming that no amount of part-time work could cover them, and eventually, she disappeared. My husband and his parents decided not to file a missing persons report, reasoning she's not a child anymore. They agreed it's better this way, not willing to take care of her if she returns. Since then, my daughter has been able to go back to school on her own. Her former brother-in-law didn't move, so her cousin still attends the same school. He now says it's his turn to protect her, and they have become closer than ever. This has led to a deeper friendship between us and my former brother-in-law, as our children have brought us together. My in-laws call both my daughter and their grandson their dear grandchildren, stepping in as his guardians when he can't do to work. With my sister-in-law gone, there's no more tension, and we have built a very trusting and reliable family relationship. I can't find my special bracelet. I think my mother-in-law might have taken it without asking again. Don't be upset, it's a gift from Mom. Just try to accept it, my husband said. I often notice that my mother-in-law takes my things without asking, and my husband always supports her. I feel frustrated because he doesn't stand up for me. It's tough for me. Then something terrible happened. Someone stole my husband's favorite fancy car. I know who did it. My name is Emma, and I'm 28 years old. My happy life with my husband, Ethan, started to fall apart about a year after we got married. We both have jobs, but I finish work earlier, so I go home and start making dinner. That day, while waiting for my husband to come home, he surprised me with some big news. Mom's coming to stay with us from next week onwards. Wait, really? She's staying overnight? I couldn't believe it. My husband let out a big sigh. No, she's not just staying overnight. She's moving in. Moving in? Like living with us? I asked, trying to understand. Yeah, exactly. Since Dad passed away, Mom's been on her own. She's getting older, and it's tough for her, my husband explained. Wait a minute. You can't just decide this without talking to me. We have our own lives too. Can't you give me some time to think about it? I pleaded. But my husband just smiled and shrugged it off. It's okay, Mom wants to feel safe. She just wants to stay with us. I understand she might feel lonely and scared, but you made this big decision without asking me. Couldn't you have at least talked to me about it? Why do I have to tell you everything? She's my mom, he argued back. That's exactly it. She's your mom, not mine. I have to change everything because of this. What are you so upset about anyway? It's decided. Just deal with it, I argued back. Wait. I called out, but my husband ignored me and left the room, leaving me feeling frustrated. How could he decide we're all going to live together without even talking to me about it? I still have to adjust, no matter what. Ethan doesn't help out around the house and acts like it's no big deal because she's his mom. We've tried talking about it, but he just says, it's done, and shuts down the conversation. As expected, the next week his mom, my mother-in-law, showed up at our house like it was planned. If she was a normal person, I wouldn't mind living together, but every time I see her, she says mean things and treats me badly. That's why I avoid going to her house unless I have to. But now, suddenly, we're supposed to live together. As I expected, my mother-in-law started criticizing me from the very first day. Emma, did you know I was coming today? There's trash in the corner, she scolded. I'm sorry, I was working and didn't have time to clean, I explained. Excuses. Couldn't you have cleaned up after work? But then I wouldn't have time to make dinner. Oh, come on. Stop arguing back. How do you even handle being Ethan's wife? Be more efficient. I'm sorry, I stuttered. Just 10 minutes in our house, and it's already like this. I'm really worried about what's going to happen next. From that day on, my mother-in-law's controlling behavior got worse, and it stressed me out constantly. Then one day, I came home from work, and my mother-in-law greeted me with a big smile, saying, "Welcome home." I usually don't get such a warm welcome, so it felt strange. Then I noticed something shiny around her neck. Wait, is that my necklace? It looked just like mine. Feeling uneasy, I hurried to my room and checked my jewelry box. My suspicion was right. I went straight to the living room and confronted my mother-in-law, who was sitting there calmly. That necklace, it's mine, isn't it? I accused. Oh, we finally noticed. It looks good on me, doesn't it? She replied shamelessly. What are you talking about? Stop using my things without asking. What's the big deal? It's not like it's going to disappear or anything. But that's not the issue here. Stop complaining and get dinner ready. Ethan will be home soon. Even while I was getting dinner ready, my mother-in-law kept interfering, making me more and more stressed. That night, I couldn't take it anymore and decided to talk to my husband. Hey, Ethan, can we talk? What's on your mind? Today I found your mother wearing my necklace without asking. Oh, so you're saying she went into my room, opened my jewelry box, and basically took it. Isn't that a bit of an exaggeration? How am I exaggerating? Come on, I'm sure Mom didn't mean any harm. I felt angry that my husband was taking his mother's side. Trying to stay calm, I continued to explain. So you're saying it's fine to just go into someone's room without asking and take their things? A normal person would at least apologize. Well, Mom probably just saw something she liked and took it. But that's not the point, Ethan. You need to talk to her. What? Me? Your mother disrespects me. Telling her off won't do anything, so you, her son, need to do it. Okay, fine. I'll handle it, all right? Despite my insistence, it seemed my husband forgot about it by the next day. I shot him a few angry looks, but he never confronted his mother. Since then, my mother-in-law started using my things without asking, basically borrowing them without permission. No matter how much I complained, she didn't listen. And since there are no locks on the doors in this house, telling her off would be pointless unless she changes her ways. If this keeps happening, I'll end up losing my belongings. I have to stop my mother-in-law's behavior. I need to come up with some sort of plan. Then, one day, something happened that I absolutely couldn't forgive. It's missing. How could this happen? Today, I had plans to meet up with a friend and wanted to wear my late mother's bracelet for the occasion. It's a precious item, so I never keep it in the jewelry box. Instead, it's hidden deep in my desk drawer. And yet, it's gone. The only person who could have taken it is my mother-in-law. When I confront her firmly, she casually admits to taking it. Of that bracelet, I just borrowed it. Then give it back right now. I need it. I can't do that. Why not? Because I sold it. What? You stole it? Is this some kind of joke? Who steals someone else's stuff? Though shaken, I stood my ground. Stop kidding around. Give it back now. I'm not kidding, by the way. Most of the things I've borrowed from you, I sold those too. What? What were you thinking? As I argued with my mother-in-law, my husband Ethan, who had just woken up, joined us. Ethan, listen to this. Quickly, I explained the situation. Your mom sold my bracelet, the one that belonged to my late mom. Plus, she's been selling off most of the things she's borrowed from me without asking. Mom, is this true? Faced with the question, my mother-in-law stuck out her tongue in a teasing way. I'm on a fixed income, you know. I don't want to be a burden, but I can't make ends meet without a little extra cash. You've got to be joking. Who gave you the right? Don't get so upset. I didn't mean any harm. If you meant no harm, you wouldn't be selling and taking other people's things. That's because, but I interrupted her. Where did you sell it? Get it back right now. Just then, my husband yelled, enough is enough. He wasn't looking at his mom, though. He was glaring at me. Confused, I asked him, why are you yelling at me, Ethan? Your mom took my bracelet without asking. Be quiet. I did it for Mom. Stop complaining. For Mom? Seriously. Why should I give up my precious things for her? Because it makes Mom happy. She's your mother-in-law. Show some respect. Just do as you're told. I couldn't handle it anymore. Not his mom stealing from me and not Ethan taking her side. I couldn't live like this anymore. Driven by growing anger, I shouted, that's it. If you won't give it back, let's get a divorce. Stop joking about divorce. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Fine, whatever. I'll get the divorce papers today. Fine, if that's what you want, I'm okay with it. As we argued, I noticed a satisfied look on his mom's face. She never liked me. Her real goal was probably to get rid of me and have this house to herself and her son. That night, my husband came home with divorce papers filled out. After signing them, I started packing. I decided to wait for the right moment to leave. The next day, during my work break, I saw multiple missed calls from my sister Sophia, who lived nearby. Something must have happened. I called her back, and she told me shocking news. Wait, Sophia, is that true? It is, no doubt about it. It's not common around here, but why? I took a photo, so I'll send it. Make sure to check it on your end too, sis. Okay, got it. After hanging up, my sister sent the photo. It was undeniable evidence that could expose my mother-in-law. When I got home and was calmly making dinner, my husband Ethan rushed in, looking worried. Emma, this is serious. What happened? My car, my prize car, is gone. Wow, that's serious. Why aren't you more worried? You know how much that car means to me. I do. It's the car I've been dreaming of since I was single, and I finally bought it last year, remember? Exactly. So be more concerned. We're still paying off the loan for it. Where could it have gone? Please don't tell me. Emma, did you take it? Of course not. I have my own car, and I know you'd be furious if I took yours. But then where? I glanced at my mother-in-law, and she quickly looked away. That confirmed my suspicion. Ethan, I think your mom knows something. What? Why would mom know? I asked her directly, and my mother-in-law's face turned pale. What are you talking about, Emma? How is mom involved? Well, I got a call from Sophia today. Sophia, she happened to be out shopping and saw your mom driving your car. What? That car is pretty unique, being a foreign model and blue. It's quite noticeable around here. Sophia even recognized the license plate. Wait, what's happening here, Ethan? Now visibly angry, Ethan confronted his mother. Mother-in-law started making excuses. No, Ethan, I just borrowed the car for a bit. Borrowed? Seriously? I've told you so many times not to touch that car. I'm sorry, but I really wanted to drive it. What on earth did you do with the car then? Did you leave it somewhere? No, not exactly, but I did leave the keys in the ignition. Someone from the neighborhood might have taken it. Stolen? Seriously? I swear I drove the car all the way home. I'm not lying. I showed my mother-in-law a photo to prove my point. Is this why you're lying? Did you wreck the car like this? I showed her a photo from my sister, Sophia. It clearly showed my mother-in-law driving a badly damaged luxury car. My sister sent this just in case. You took Ethan's car and wrecked it so badly that you couldn't drive it back, didn't you? No, that's not what happened. Where's the car anyway? And if someone stole it from the neighborhood, someone would have noticed, right? Well, my husband started shaking next to me, his voice full of anger as he yelled at his mother with a fierce look. Are you serious? You wrecked my car, and then what? Give it back now. Calm down, Ethan. How can I stay calm? You're paying for the repairs, Gavit. That's impossible. I've already sold the car. Sold it? That's not possible. The car is in my name. I found a dealer who said they'd buy any car. They said I could even sell it on behalf of someone else. So I sold it for $4,000. $4,000? The luxury car my husband bought would easily go for hundreds of thousands, even if sold now. My mother-in-law got tricked by some shady dealer who didn't know the car's value and got ripped off. When my husband found out, he was furious and yelled at his mom like never before. You've got to be kidding me. Do you realize how much that car meant to me? I'm sorry, Ethan. I'll give you back the $4,000, so please forgive me. $4,000 isn't even close to enough. Get out. My husband forcefully kicked his mother out and locked the door. He turned to me defeated and muttered, I never thought Mom could cause so much trouble. I'm sorry for not supporting you earlier. Finally, you understand. Don't worry, now that she's gone, I'm over it. Let's move forward happily together. No, we won't. What? Why not? I want a divorce. Instantly, his face turned pale and he clung to me. Wait a second. I already kicked Mom out. Why divorce now? Don't you understand? I'm done with you two. My decision to divorce stands. I don't want to fix things anymore. You've taken your mom's side too many times. It's not fair. You're being too harsh. Harsh? That's rich coming from you. You didn't lift a finger when I needed support. You're so selfish. I hate you just as much as I hate your mother. My feelings won't change, Emma. Calm down. Stop it. This all happened because you chose to live with her. Think about that. I'll never forgive you. What about the car? You got what's coming to you. You deserve it. What? You feel that way? Good. I hope you struggle with double the mortgage and car payments. You deserve the consequences. You'll have to deal with it. You son of a... I left him with those words and grabbed my packed bags. On my way out, I headed straight to City Hall to file for divorce. I deleted all his contact info and cut ties completely. Later, I demanded compensation from my mother-in-law for selling my belongings without my permission. She reluctantly started working. With demands for car payments from her son, she's likely working for the rest of her life. My husband is left with house and car loans, and his life has changed significantly. He no longer goes on stress-relieving drives, spending his days off confined to the house. A hopeless case, both mother and son. Karma's a real thing, serves you right. After all this, I moved to an apartment near my workplace. Now that I'm single again, I have more financial freedom, and life is much more peaceful. Since it's my day off, maybe I'll take a drive to the beach today. This is what freedom feels like. I plan to enjoy my new life to the fullest.